Varsity assistant football coach stipend, Bobby Campbell. Hoopa High, new hire. Volleyball coach stipend, Rebecca Kate. Hoopa L, new hire. ASB advisor stipend, Rebecca Kate. Hoopa L, new hire. 6th grade teacher certificated, Nathaniel Steinhardt. Hoopa L, new hire. ASB advisor stipend, Dina Moe, Trinity Valley, new hire. And the vote was, they were all in favor. It was Wild, yes, Foreman, Myers, Colgrove, Roddy, McLaughlin, and George. Aye. No, none opposed. And in closed session item B, nothing to report. Closed session item C, nothing to report.
Public comment on agenda items. I don't have any slips up here, so I'm guessing there's no public comment. Number 6, consent agenda. A, approval for transportation agreement between Northern Humboldt Union High School District and Klamath County Joint Unified School District. Is there any discussion?
I move we approve.
I just had a question. Is this the normal one that we do every year for
Buses.
for fuel and mechanics stuff?
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carries. 7, action item A, approve updated 2022-2023 LCAP. Upon the completion of the compliance review from the County Office of Education, we have updated our 2022-2023 local control accountability plan to concur with our final budget adoption. Do we have any discussion? Carly, can you?
Yeah, I can give you an update. So,
Okay.
with the compliance review that is done from the Humboldt County Office of Education, they go through, they look at what we approved with the budget at the time, and they take a look at if there's any additional comments that's required. And they did find one comment that was required, and that was how our additional 250 was used to increase direct services to kids. And that was our psychologist. So we now have a psychologist in our budget. The other changes that came were our annual updates. So when in LCAP, when we approve it during the budget adoption, we submit our information to the county, and it's on an estimate. So it's estimated actuals. And on June 7th was when they received what our estimated actuals were and what our proposed budget was going to be. So upon the adoption of the budget adoption, there was a couple of funds, for example, transportation, that needed to be updated to reflect the actual cost that supplemental was responsible for with LCF. So we just did some updates. Again, we did our estimated actuals where they were actuals, and we had to make some adjustments. When we did the estimated actuals, we took into consideration some of the encumbrances at that time. And once this June 30th had hit, we either canceled the order because it wasn't going to meet the June 30th cutoff date, and therefore there may have been a change, might have been a small change. So we had to go through it and update those estimated actuals to be actuals. And in our budget, again, the transportation, we had to do that piece. We had to break out our supplemental because the right hand was talking to the left hand. Unfortunately, when it said supplemental was going to pay, for example, the instructional materials, it wasn't contributing, when in fact 118,000, not 118,000, excuse me, the 200,000 was contributing. And so we had to make that adjustment in our LCAP. So we added an additional goal just to show exactly that amount for our instructional materials. So there's no real language. I asked the county if there was something we could put in that kind of describes why we're having to do this. There's really no law. There wasn't, they never got back to me in regards to it. And therefore I'm not able to provide, you know, why we're having to do this. It's just that we have to do it from, because it's the county's responsibility that we should match with our budget document. So that's basically it. Maybe some numbers, actual,
Not gonna, like an audit,
no,
no.
no, by doing this, we meet our date, that's why we're having a special meeting. It goes to the county, said it's great, and again, our county office is really, really great at reaching out and providing documents to us, so we can actually look through and work together one by one. So I will say that having them on a Zoom, spend a day together and just went line item by line item. We retraded the information. What are you looking at? What report are you looking at? And that kind of explanation. So some of the things needed to be explained because I looked at, you know, one report that was 0.7, and we're looking at 0.3. And I have to explain, well, 40% of this was, and then it was true. You mean 40%? Well, here it is. So working with them, it makes it a lot easier. Just it's a better understanding. And I said the right hand wasn't speaking. Well, that's because, you know, so. But now I know, and
To know that.
gained a lot more knowledge, way more than I ever, you know, with our reviewing. Again, some people are visual people. What are you looking at? So I can see it and know what to do. That's what that's at. That's just the updates.
Adopt.
Second half.
Doing that, all in favor, opposed? No opposed? Motion passes. 7A, approval of memorandum of agreement between Lake Thomas Watershed Council and Concord Unified School District. Do we have any discussion on that item?
Yeah, I have a question on page 97. Down on the, well, first of all, I have a problem with the agreement being made with Orleans Elementary School instead of a district. So I think some of these things need to change, even though the superintendent did sign that Orleans is under the district's umbrella and all agreements and everything should be with the district for the Orleans as the recipient.
I think that actually it says that right in the very beginning.
Yeah, they just didn't change the title, but we did make them say, and in the first paragraph, and the Plymouth Unified School District. For the benefit of Orleans students.
But it's still throughout the whole district, a whole contract. On page 97 here, down on D at the bottom, I have a question there that the MKWC, its officers, directors, employees, agents, and volunteers as Orleans Elementary School shall list them as additional insured insurance policies applicable to the scope of services. Is that common that when we do an agreement with another agency, that anybody that volunteers is under our insurance?
No, it would have to be an employee or a person that's covered under performance agreement.
Well, insured on all KTJUSD insurance policies applicable to the scope of services to be provided as set forth herein. So we're saying that the Mid-Plymouth Watershed Council, their officers, directors, employees, agents, and volunteers will be insured under our insurance. I was just wondering.
Doesn't it mean whatever Orleans, whatever KTJ wouldn't cover, then they would?
I think we need legal before this is signed.
I'm not sure. People actually looked it over.
Yeah, they did.
Which legal? Well, I think we need to run it past.
Lauren.
Yeah, if you go close to the end of that whole D section, right where you see OES, like 3 lines up from E. Says the OES's insurance coverage shall be the primary insurance as respects those.
Its officers, employees, and volunteers. Again, it's saying that we are the primary insurance for them.
We'll read it.
Okay,
I actually thought that this, watershed worked with. According to this, they only work with Orleans.
Yeah.
Mid
They're
Clement,
doing site-specific,
yeah.
lessons.
I would say you questioned the last time.
The other, on page 98, also down at the bottom, monitoring and compliance, OES administrative representative. Again, it should be KTJUSD. So I think have an attorney go through, look at those two issues.
So let's table it until.
We can approve it with attorney's interpretation on those two issues. Because it is a great program.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
it's wonderful.
And we
I'd
don't.
like to see it throughout the whole district, although this is what we have.
Well, it is Mid Clement,
Yes, that's.
sorry.
Keywords.
No, it's wonderful, but I have the ability that we are assuming under this contract.
So is this Orleans template, because we had this issue with Orleans
It
before,
might be,
so they need to change their template.
Okay.
Because if this is the second or third time Orleans has brought us a
Right.
contract that was between Orleans Elementary and insurance, we've had the same discussion,
Right.
so I think that they need to.
So maybe it needs to be brought to the principal's attention that the business department is
that template needs-
KTJUSD.
needs to-
Do we have any?
We don't have a motion on the table. When there's a discussion.
System.
Which changes, right? Consistent with the changes of, says.
That we run past the liability issues with an attorney and make the changes. Instead of OES being the contractor, that's KTJUSD.
Karen needs to make sure. Or she needs to make sure that she's doing that.
Probably. In my way.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion with changes passes. And number 8, correspondence, reports, and or discussion items. A, district appointments to the board. And I think Jennifer,
I wanted you to see what Barry responded, because he wasn't sure what to do with our vacant ones that may be applied for, so I attached the email from Carrie for everybody to review. And she gave very detailed instructions on what to do. And what was the word that you used between with an appointment?
No, we need to change area 1 from a 2-year
Area.
term to a 4-year. Yes,
Or at least ask for an explanation.
yes, of why it said that.
Could be right.
You know what?
Okay, never mind.
But then I don't have anything in my binder.
It's like, you don't have the pages.
Yeah,
like
it's
the- like
This
this.
was massive.
Should say it's big, but it's big.
Might have got
I think we probably should read the pertinent parts of her letter of what we need to do now.
okay. Shall I read it?
It's just this.
Okay.
This is under the current equipment.
But the change or under the current circumstances, the district must appoint 2 new trustees before November 8th, 2022. It must follow the process described above to complete that process. Let me read it.
I know where her 1 and 2 is. It's on the back page of the election. Where it says 1, 2 years. That's right. That's Richard. I think that's clear.
Okay. The district must place an advertisement in the newspaper in the district area to inform the public that the board intends to make 2 appointments and to inform the public of the procedure for applying for the vacant positions. Thus, the board needs to establish a procedure and timeline for applying the position. 2, upon receipt of the applications for the trustee areas, a committee of the board, which must consist of less than a quorum, must meet to ensure that the applicants are eligible for board membership and shall announce the names of the eligible candidates. 3, the board must interview the candidates at a public meeting, accept verbal or written public and select 2 appointees. 4, within 10 days of appointment, the board must post in the local newspaper and post in 3 public places within the district a notice that identifies the vacancy, the appointee, the date of the appointment, and a statement that unless a petition for a special election is filed, the appointment shall become effective. Given the above authorities, we recommend that the district begin the notification and appointment process as soon as possible, as the appointment must take place at a meeting prior to election day. Okay, so. And I kind of remember doing this once before. The board, we have to have a subcommittee.
Yeah, we did it with Tom.
Right.
Did we have this because there wasn't anybody applying?
We had 2 people, well, it
We were
was,
filling vacancies
They were
after
filling
they were.
Yeah, some people retired from the board in the middle of their.
it was a resignation.
Yeah, we had resignation, so it was a little bit different. What I see with this one being different is that we have to have the persons chosen by election day, which is November 8th. And so we have to have them, put out the notification that we're looking for people to apply. We have to have the meeting, interview in public, we have to vote. And then whoever we vote to fill those 2 positions, we have to let the election them know by election day. And then they are seated in the December meeting along with the others.
We need to know this by the end of October. We have 1
I
month,
can't hear you.
we have 1 month, then this has to be done.
Yeah, and our November meeting is what date?
It's the second. We did get calendar.
So it'd be after the 8th.
Yeah, so we'll have to have a special meeting.
We'll have to have a meeting.
The first week of November,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. but we have to have a meeting before that because we have
Interview.
the people have to interview with us. And then it has to be posted in the newspaper.
After we, my understanding of this, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. We have to put our notices out that we are looking for candidates who are interested in being trustees for the 2 areas. I believe one is 6, and I don't, what's the other one, 1 or 2?
It's
Anyway, the 2,
92.
area 2 and area 6. We have to get those notices out immediately. And then they get their letters and qualifications into us. We have to have a meeting, public meeting where we interview them and then we vote in public. Whoever is voted in, we have to tell the elections committee before November 8th, and we have to post in 3 places in the district and back in the paper, I guess, of who it was, and then they get 30 days if anybody wants to read that.
How do we do that in 30 days if they're gonna seat them?
I think it's-
Well, that's afterwards. That can be, that can be before they're seated in December.
We can do it, it's just gonna be tight.
Well, the question is, though, is I still am not clear of where the boundary is for area 6. That's the area that I'm now in. Paige applied for the other half, but I don't know where that boundary is. Now, you contacted Jennifer. You contacted.
I did planning, and I did office of election, and one of their zoning and something, and asked if they sent me the precinct. I know the precincts inside of each area, but I don't know the actual boundary.
Were they coming up to show us the boundaries?
Yeah, I asked somebody to, or somebody with them.
Yeah, but they're maps. You know, we need we need the streets and the rivers and all that.
Why don't I contact the people that did? Plan list. Let me contact them and see if they'll do it, even if we have to pay them a little extra to get it done in the system. Let me do that. I'll do that
Well,
tomorrow.
we need to put that map in the paper when we're saying we need somebody from this area.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that would make sense. to contact them. Is that okay? Contact them and let them help us out with this. Because we're not getting anything else, so.
The county's not,
Maybe we should send the bill to the county.
well, it needs to happen yesterday.
I agree. I think that's a good idea. I think it'd be better to hire a professional in this case than for us to fumble this ball because we're.
If we could get it into Alan by Monday, she could. I get it to her on Friday.
And this isn't the end of this process, because I'm thinking that you guys are considering having a 5-person board because of the weirdness of
I don't
this
think-
board.
I don't think we were gonna do that. Yeah.
Oh, I know,
We talked.
It's not.
I'm up for the next board.
So if we can get better maps, then we can talk about that with some kind of authority.
I think our liability would be, if we made a mistake, would be big.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know where the boundary is and we happen to interview and appoint somebody that's just over the line by 10 feet, we're in trouble.
And so it makes sense. Sure, absolutely. Which part? You need like a list of parcel. But some kind of physical address or.
You know, the evacuation maps that the sheriff's department sends
Why
out.
doesn't the
are
election
wonderful.
department
They even
send that
have them
to us
on their
already?
maps.
We've been talking about this for months, needing those lines, and I thought we had put in a request to the elections department, county, to send us that, so we won't.
They did.
But they can just send us a
Yeah.
map that was
We're not the
basically
only
worthless.
ones.
Yeah,
who
I
have-
know.
Other
More
people
confusing.
have it.
Yeah, right.
They're just not responding.
But this agency. should-
Yeah, they should
Should
have
have-
something to
Yeah,
do with it too.
But
They
Yeah,
just
let's get
step out
them
and
on it, and
send
give them
in
a week
a-
yesterday.
The agency that we hired.
Right, fine, well,
Yeah, okay, they haven't been helping us at all now.
Well, they were only
Contract
hired to
with-
do that,
yes, the contract out.
yeah, our contract with them.
They did what we asked them to do at that point.
I'll contact them tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
It just seems to me whether the contract was complete, that when they drew those lines, they must have had some specific points that they could tell you how they did it, whether it's
It had to do with
meridians or whatever, that, because it's a pretty precise line when you look at it. It seems like they should have done that in additional contract.
But
Well,
they,
they
what,
did it, but the county then took it and said, we're going to go and align it with property ownership. So we're waiting on. the
Okay, so
county
we
to
could have
do that.
split a property?
We don't know.
We don't know, the county's gonna make that decision, it goes out of our hands.
What they,
When I've gone on the map that the county supplies, so if you put an address in there, it'll tell you which it is, but you would have to back it in and know if someone's applying and know what their address is. Then it could tell you definitively, but you look at them, it's all guesswork.
what,
Addresses.
what the company told us is that these are approximate. What the county would do is then go in and do the parcel numbers and do the fine detail. And then we haven't gotten that.
The voter registration.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that.
It's a bit late that we haven't done this.
Yeah.
Here it is, everybody.
Good luck.
Well, what we're really hoping for is some interest out of those areas.
Not in that area.
Or we will be in a 500 word.
Okay, you two won't resign for a long time.
Yeah.
What happens if we don't find anybody?
Then you go forward with who you have. And you keep advertising for people.
In the
It has
state.
been advertised, right? I mean, we have some people that have been interested, right?
Right, just for those two, just the two.
Yeah.
We might now. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll contact you.
You want me to start putting flyers around your neighborhood?
Door to door. Hello.
Okay.
The motion that we adjourned.
I have a discussion though. In regards to your donation request,
Yes.
I think we have board policies, because this is a vendor that we pay.
Yeah.
I don't think we can accept a donation from a vendor that we purchased the service.
Yeah.
We get something from that. I think it's policy. This isn't an outside agency that's wanting to do, this is an actual vendor, and I think.
We spent so much money with them that they want to give us $1,000.
And I don't think, I think there's more policy that states we can't.
Why?
Like,
If you can find that
kickback.
policy, I've not seen it.
So we need to table this.
Maybe it's in
Well, we didn't figure out how we can take that $1,000.
Our audit. Actually, we wanted to set up transitional kindergarten classes in our district for next year with that. We wanted to buy supplies for the TK kids.
I'll ask our auditor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Virtual kindergarten. Yesterday on the news, I heard that they were not going to make kindergarten mandatory. The governor said that.
The governor vetoed it, yeah. Kindergarten's not mandatory.
But transitional
No,
kindergarten is?
kindergarten never has been mandatory.
No.
No, it never has.
But they were going to, I read that
They were going to make it.
something about TK and kindergarten. He surprised everybody when he vetoed it.
Never mind.
It was just yesterday that it happened.
Yeah, it's not compulsory. But it's compulsory that we provide.
Right.
But what they were requiring in that bill, he vetoed it. Look at it, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
School board association and daily news.
I'm out.
Oh, wait a minute, wait just a minute. Okay.
Not taking the money.
Right?
We are, we are
She's
trying
gonna check with the
Oh, we're gonna take
auditor,
the money,
We're gonna
but we're
figure
gonna
out how to
decide.
take
if-
it.
check with the auditor.
Okay.
Okay, so do I have
I move to adjourn.
a second? All in favor?
You?
Who made the motion? Sorry. Who seconded it? I missed it.
I did.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm in.
Everybody was in favor.